Last Sunday, there was an incident at the Ring of Honor show in Portland, Oregon. A fan claimed that he was spit on by Mandy Leon, then taken backstage and intimidated by Bully Ray. The fan says that after the dark match, which featured the Allure, which is Mandy Leon, Angelina Love, and Velvet Sky, basically, their version of the Beautiful People from TNA. Madison Rayne actually pitched the idea of reuniting the group in Ring of Honor. They were not initially hot on that idea. They may have outright rejected the idea. Then she requested, I think, that she be released. They came around on the idea. They end up doing it, and Madison Rayne left the company anyway to go back to Impact, where her husband works. She's married to Josh Matthews, bless her heart. So anyway, the fan says that he exchanged words with Velvet. Mandy Leon spit on him. He said that he says nothing about it because it is what it is, right? They're being heels. Second match is up, and again, the Allure comes out, this time to interfere in the finish. And he starts talking shit to the ladies because they're heels. Now, exactly what he said, we don't know. He claims it was just the kind of stuff, that you would expect to say to a bunch of heels, you're trash and that kind of stuff. But did he say something far worse? He may have. We just don't know for sure. Velvet is not happy about any of this. She gets hot, challenges him to come into the ring. She's telling him to suck it. She's calling him a pussy. Then she calls him a virgin. And then in return, he reminds her that she has sex with, and I quote, this is his words, that fat turd, Bully Ray. And then he calls them the Tramp Stamp Trio. So they leave. About 5 minutes later, he gets a tap on the shoulder, and it's security. They say there's been an incident, they want to talk to him. They proceed to take the fan backstage. They don't, reprimand him and say, you can't be doing that. They don't kick him out. They bring him backstage. Now, he has no idea what's going on. His initial thought is, well, maybe it has something to do with Mandy spitting on him earlier in the night because you can't be doing that. So he's thinking, okay, maybe they want to kind of sort out what happened here because she may be in trouble. All of a sudden, he's in the back, and a wild Bully Ray appears. Bully Ray shows up. He's looking all pissed off, and he says, so, I heard there was an incident with you and some of the girls. Of course, one of those girls just so happens to be his girlfriend. He says, so here's the deal. You're done talking down to them. You need to treat them with respect. Don't say anything that you would not say to your mom. Which is hilarious coming from the guy who used to tell fans in ECW, your mother taught you how to suck dick. Now he's all about respect. Respectful Ray. Now, I know that was over 20 years ago. Times change, people change, but it's still funny that it would be Bully of all people to give a lecture like that to somebody else. So the guy didn't want to get kicked out. He was kind of freaked out, frankly, by what was going on here. He was not getting in Bully's face. He was not looking for a fight. He did not want to be kicked out and miss the rest of the show. So he said, yes, sir. And he went back to his seat. Go be a fan, is what Bully Ray told him before he walked off. Go be a fan. Which hey, when you're booing the heels, to me that sounds like you're being a fan. Apparently Bully didn't think he was being a fan. He thought he was being obnoxious. He told him go be a fan. So the guy went back to his seat. He watched the rest of the show, I guess without incident, but it bothered him so much. He didn't want to say anything that night or anything, so he waited until the event was over. And then he went on Twitter and he tweeted about the whole situation, and it sort of went viral, at least in terms of wrestling Twitter. It went viral. Ring of Honor responded that they take these allegations very seriously. They said they would be conducting a thorough investigation to make sure that the, quote, appropriate actions are taken. Bully, for his part, he waited a little while before he finally posted a reply of his own. This is what Bully had to say about the situation. He said, and now the truth. I could not have been any nicer to said fan. I never threatened, intimidated, or berated him. I handled the situation the exact opposite way that most would assume, with decorum. Conversation lasted less than 30 seconds. I even gave the guy a friendly pat on the back and told him to enjoy the show and go be a fan. His response to me was, thanks, Bully. Fan version of story is embellished to make fan look like a victim. Many other fans who attended the shows in Kent and Portland have already confirmed on social media about how said fan crossed the line with multiple talents, both men and women. In retrospect, the fan should have been ejected. Unfortunately, it wasn't until after Fan, who was asked not to be so rude, did we find out the severity of the vile comments and lewd sexual gestures made towards women. And per a note in the Observer, by the way, there was another fan at ringside at this show who did say that this guy was making lewd sexual gestures towards the women. Now, again, what does that mean? I mean, that could mean anything. But there was at least one other person who said that was taking place. Anyway, Bully continues here. He says, at the end of the day, I am guilty of defending 3 women that needed a bit of defending. Oh, boy. Not by being a bully, but by being a man. So that is the statement from Respectful Ray. On Thursday, Ring of Honor issued a statement saying they pride themselves on providing a fun and entertaining environment for fans and wrestlers to experience professional wrestling at the highest level. Fans are encouraged to cheer, boo, and chant during the show while wrestlers interact both positively and in rivalry, as that is the engagement that makes the ROH experience what it is. Wrestlers interacting with fans is core to the experience. However, under no circumstances should any of our athletes or staff confront or engage fans outside the bounds of this entertainment experience or outside the bounds of the area that hosts this experience. We hold all of our athletes and staff members to the highest regards and standards, and because of the actions over the weekend, we fell short of meeting those standards. We are still in the process of investigating this matter, as well as reviewing and assessing internal security protocols to ensure a safe environment for all fans and athletes. All of our athletes and staff will also be trained and reminded of our policies and protocols for fan interaction and appropriate behavior in all situations. So, they admit that the incident happened and that Bully was out of line for doing what he did. Although, they don't... You would think in the same statement that if they were really convinced that this fan had gone over the line with either his language or if he was making very inappropriate gestures, they would have had some kind of comment in there about how the fans also need to understand that. It was interesting that I didn't see any of that in the statement. That kind of struck me. They admitted that this did happen and that Bully was basically wrong for doing what he did, and they were wrong for bringing this guy backstage in the first place. Now, they claim that they're still investigating. The fan tweeted that it had been 48 hours and their investigation was seemingly over and nobody had contacted me. Nobody had contacted him from Ring of Honor. The statement clearly said the investigation was not yet over, so I think this fan needs to learn how to read. But here's what I got out of the whole thing. Here's my take on this whole weird situation. Bully was mad that a fan said something mean to his girlfriend. His girlfriend bitched to him about it. He flexed his muscle and he tried to intimidate the guy. That's what happened here. That's what it sounds to me like exactly what happened here. This whole thing is embarrassing, and not for the fan. It's embarrassing for Ring of Honor. If the guy was being belligerent, if the guy was drunk, if he was physically touching one of the women, hey, all bets are off. Then you kick him out. To bring him backstage, to get intimidated by Bully Ray, and then be told, hey, go be a fan, sounds to me like he was being a fan. And we've got a lot of oversensitive people here in 2019.